Hey everyone, it is Natalie Achonwa, and welcome to episode number 2 of Nat Chat. Thank you for tuning in last week to my very first episode with Coach Ivy. But this week, we're going to get a little real. With May being Mental Health Awareness Month, I wanted to touch on a topic that is near and dear to my heart. And I wanted to bring in a very special guest who shares my passion for mental health advocacy. So, Imani McGee-Stafford is going to join us shortly to talk about basketball, to talk about poetry, law school, advocacy, and everything that she is passionate about. So, stay tuned for episode number 2 of Nat Chat. Natalie Achonwa here. Nat Chat. Nat Chat. Welcome to Nat Chat, the latest and the greatest. Imani, hi, welcome. Thanks for coming on Nat Chat. I'm so excited to have you on my show, episode 2. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. I think it's really dope what you're doing, so I'm excited to be a part of it.
And I'm also excited because Deborah Peters, of course, my best friend, said you are her all-time favorite interviewee. So I was like, gotta have Imani on. Such an elaborate person, so many different avenues to cover. So let's get right to it. But first, I want to give the people a little bit of a background. Let's talk on court, a little bit of basketball life. I know you come from a huge basketball family, WNBA, NBA, all of the above. So give us a little background, a little touch on your family and your love for hoops.
Yeah, so like the most prominent people that play basketball is my older brother. He's a 2-time NBA champion. He plays for the Lakers right now, JaVale McGee. My mother is in the Hall of Fame. She's won on every level. She's an NCAA champion, Olympian, and a WNBA champion, Imani McGee. Little known, people don't actually know this, but my dad also played in college and a little bit overseas, and his sister played for the Miami Soul.
Okay.
And she's now a college coach at North Carolina Central. So basketball's like always been my whole life. I didn't play until late because my dad didn't want to force me, but I was also 6'5" at 13. So I was eventually going to get there. Yeah. So, but yeah, I just come from every time I walk in the gym, somebody knows who I am because of my family. So
do you guys, have you had, I'm sure when you were younger, but when was the last time you and your brother, you and your mom played a little, I don't know, I'm thinking driveway basketball, elbows, couple blood, couple fouls?
Yes, exactly. So, so I'm the youngest, right? So me and my brother are 7 years apart. So I never got to see my mom play. My mom played with my brother growing up, but she was already knees gone by the time I came out, Yeah. And so the last time I played one-on-one with my brother was probably, a couple years ago. And so it was just whatever, cool, fun, and super competitive. And he tried to dunk on me and I stripped the ball from him.
Okay,
so
good.
It was a whole huge thing. And then when we were kids, we have cousins that are 2 and 3 years, we're really close. So our aunt would always get us together in the summer, and we used to get in so much trouble because some way, somehow, the basketball would get kicked down the street, in the middle of the front yard games, because it would always just get ridiculously competitive.
Yeah, that's literally in our household, we have maybe a day a month that we're allowed to play board games because the competition level in our house. Listen, somebody gonna be mad, somebody gonna storm to the room. It's just we were not allowed to play on the daily, because I can feel you on that level for sure. But now I want to, one of the pieces of my show is we tend to play a game or two, a little bit of get to know you. So on this episode of Nat Chat, we're going to play this or that. So the first question would be swimming with the sharks or skydiving?
Skydiving, easy. I don't do ocean. I don't do shark. I'm good.
Okay. Question number 2. Would you rather have a rewind button or a pause button on your life?
That's tough. If I have the rewind button, can I change anything, or do I just get to replay it?
Well, you get to rewind and do it over however you want.
Oh, I think I would do rewind.
Rewind. Okay, good choice, good choice. Question number 3. Who is the better shooter, you or your brother JaVale?
Me. Easy.
No hesitation. Question number 4. Which is worse, being asked how tall you are or being challenged to play one-on-one?
Definitely one-on-one.
Oh, gosh.
Just because why? Leave me alone.
Literally, the DM's full of, but you can't beat me one-on-one.
sir.
Next question is, would you rather be able to dance like Sierra or sing like Beyonce?
I'm gonna say dance like C, because you don't have opportunities to sing like Beyonce all the time, but I could always just people be really impressed that I can dance. Like, there's never a wrong time to dance.
I feel like if I could sing like Beyonce, I would just sing for no reason though. I would be arrogant as heck. Like, God knew better than to give me a voice. Like, he knew better. So, you're eating chicken wings. Are you picking drums or are you picking flats?
Flats. Easy. I'm a flat.
All right. Okay, so that's it for this or that. Hopefully people got to know you a little bit more on a chill level on some of your decision making. Questionable on the chicken wing one. Next, we're gonna talk a little bit more about how multifaceted your career is. So first, I want to talk about your poetry. So this is nothing new for people that know you or maybe follow you a little bit on the gram, but you do have a book called Notes in the Key of Heartbreak that came out a couple years ago, right? So tell me about that. Where did your love for poetry come? Where did this passion for poetry come from?
My whole family can sing, and like I used to think I was gonna be next to Alicia Keys. I used to write songs when I was like 7th grade, all that. Like, had the melody, the bridge, all of that. And then 7th grade English, we learned about Tupac, but not rapping. We learned about his poetry.
Okay.
And then we read the Diary of Anne Frank. And so like those two things coupled together were like, wow, like a little girl's voice can be this important. And then like, I didn't even really know what poetry was. And so like, I just fell in love with it. And I was like, forget songs, like I'm gonna write poems. And it was just so easy for me too, like to just help me get my words out, my thoughts. And then as I got older, it became like the only form of like communication I guess I had. And I think like I've had enough poems, like I have books and books of poetry. Like I'm the person that has like an unlimited supply of composition books and like little notebooks and stuff. But I was going through my divorce, and my divorce was, I did that process very privately, and like I did it alone, and it just felt like it was finally something important enough for me to kind of release something. And like I was with my ex-husband since we were 17 and 18. So for me, it was like, I want to memorialize this moment. And like, because like we're divorced, so like, I never need to see you again. And like the concept of like going from you being my whole world to like you basically don't exist anymore was just like mind boggling to me. So I was like, let me just rewrite this poetry book and like put this out into the world, because like if 30 years down the road, like I can say like we loved and we failed, but we loved really hard and like it mattered, you know?
Yeah.
That's the hopeless romantic in me.
That is so deep. That is so deep. And I think like you said, timing is everything. And I think you could feel that in your book. Career is a crazy whirlwind, right? And now with you changing careers again, so creating a new passion, is this something that you've always had? Going back to law school, taking a break from basketball, is law something you've always wanted to pursue? How did this kind of come about?
I was just like, how can I do more? Like right now, I kind of work in the atmosphere of advocacy and hope, but like I wanted to really change something. So like I was looking around, I'm like, what can I do? And like law school was a thing. Now, was law school supposed to happen now? Not at all. Not at all. I was literally at ground zero of my like 4-year plan yet. So I'm like, if we don't have a season, I'm gonna have to get a job regardless. Like something, we're gonna have to figure it out. So I was like, man, all right, let me just shoot my shot, right? So I applied literally like a week before the deadline. And I'm like, if this is my time, God will make it happen.
It'll be meant to be. Yeah. Yeah.
If not, cool, whatever, then I'll go back to my original plan. And then I got in with 50% scholarship. And I'm like, yo.
Congratulations. Definitely, if it's meant to be, it'll be. So it was meant to be, right?
So I was like, man, I just got to do this. And I was so scared. Like, I thought my agent was going to cuss me out. Like, I thought my team was going to be like, forget you. Like, And everybody just received me with such open arms and like so much support, where I was like, oh, this is really what's supposed to be happening in my life right now, right? Like my agent was like, okay, so do you want to do this? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, I support you, cool. I called Greg Bibb, our GM, Brian Agler. They both were super supportive, like, hey, cool, we're going to suspend you. And when you come back, your job will be here for you to earn. Like, we're not going to cut you. Like, giving you the opportunity to come back, you know, like they were just super supportive. And so like, I was like, wow. So like, you know, like I'm a firm believer in like the universe aligns itself for where you need to be. And like, God definitely was like, this is what we're doing right now. Like, so he made it possible. So it's super scary because like, obviously like I've been out of school for 5 years. It's a whole different avenue. But it's also like really exciting. It's like, I'm a firm believer of like, I can have it all. Maybe not at all at the same time, but I'm a try. So, you know, this is me like chasing my dreams fearlessly.
That is very honorable, because I know there are plenty of people, regardless of what profession they're in, but that have a passion that might need that extra motivation. In hearing your story and hearing that if it's meant to be, it'll be, that it'll come to fruition. And with the work that's going to be put in during your 2 years of law school, I cannot wait to see what you're able to do with that law degree and that advocacy and everything that's going on in your life. It's so exciting that it's all aligning in a way that you want it to. But I do want you to read a poem for us, or maybe two. So I would love for you to read a poem for us, and so we can get a little sense of what Imani the poet is like.
So I just wrote this a couple of weeks ago. Today I did not pray for men. I did not ask for love or some sort of ideal I was taught to want at 10. I prayed for me, and that felt enough, worthy. Today I thank God for all of his blessings. A companion wasn't one of them, and that too was okay. I am learning just how powerful woman is, how beautiful she is, alone, how peaceful it must feel to be enough. I'm often scared that I will spend my life chasing men that don't need me, that never deserve me. My best work, a poem to a man who never read it. Sometimes I forget that God made me in her image, that even though I came second, nothing can be first without me.
Yes. That made me empowered. That felt strong. That felt, I felt that. Like, you cannot pour from a cup that's empty. So you have to fill yourself. You have to make sure you're whole first before that you can love anyone else, regardless of that's a partner, your family, whoever it is. You need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself first and foremost. And I think that ties into something that we both use our platform for very strongly, which is mental health advocacy. I think even I'm just like circling back to, of course, like your first passion of basketball and adding and circling this mental health advocacy. There's been such a shift in the way that mental health is viewed. And we talk about ending the stigma of it. But like, why do you feel like that shift is just happening now? Why do you think it's more prominent? Because we have athletic figures and people coming out saying that this is important? Because it's not like we weren't going through it. It's not like we haven't had our own mental health issues, or that we don't know people that have been through their own mental health struggles. Why is it now that all of a sudden it's talked about?
I think I think our generation is changing things. I think our generation is very focused on like, don't suffer in silence. And if you think about, at least the way I grew up, it was very much like what happens in our household stays in our household, you know, like put on a brave face and go out in the world and, you know, don't break down, be strong. And it definitely helps that, you know, we've seen Kevin Love, DeMar DeRozan, Liz Cambage talk about these things on such a broad platform, Ben Gordon, because like we look at athletes as superheroes. They're like unbreakable, super strong. And so when you see these beautiful people and athletic and strong people telling these stories, you're like, wow, maybe I can see myself in this spectrum. And I think like for the longest, we've only had certain pictures of what a victim looks like, certain pictures of what someone dealing with mental illness looks like. And that doesn't look like us. Mm-hmm. So like the more stories we have and the more people that talk about it, the more it'll be taken seriously and it's easier to erase the stigma. And I also think we've seen a lot of very influential people take their lives. Robin Williams, Kate Spade, like that scares people when you're like, these people I look up to who look like they have everything I could dream of, they're still suffering from these things. So it makes people take it seriously. And it's unfortunate that it has to be these like catastrophic moments. But I think the more we have these conversations and the more people like us do this work, hopefully like our generation and thereon, it won't take something so catastrophic to get people to understand that mental health is important.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, like even that point when you said that people view athletes as superheroes, I think that is one of the biggest things that I suffered through was always trying to put on a brave face, always trying to be strong, like the whole no blood, no sweat, no tears, always trying to put on this macho, I can do it and I can do it myself. And I think that is the hardest piece to shatter individually. But thank you for using your platform for good, from mental health advocacy, from now going back to law school. I think what you do and who you are is admirable. Thank you for coming on Nat Chat. Thank you for this in-depth chat. Like, I didn't want it to be, so I didn't want it to end. But thanks again for the insight. Thank you for being deep. Thank you for being vulnerable. And thanks for coming.
Thank you so much. You're going to make me cry. Thank you for doing this. Awesome that you have this platform and you're taking advantage of it. So
thanks. Bye, Money. Wrapping up episode number 2, I just wanted to remind everyone how important it is to stay connected. Even though we're social distancing and quarantining right now, it doesn't mean that we have to socially isolate. Reach out to friends, family members, and loved ones to remind them that we are all in this together. But once again, I am Natalie Achonwa. Thanks for watching this episode of Nat Chat. Nat Chat. Nat Chat. The latest and the greatest